What is up, guys? You got Not the Worst here, bringing you another silver breakdown, and this time money per hour, 20-hour grind silver breakdown. We're working on the name, working title. This time we are doing Sherekhan Necropolis. This place was pretty heavily requested for a while. I didn't quite get around to doing it because just had other ones that I wanted to jump on into, but now we're here. So if you don't know where it is here's Duvenkroon, the new Dregan area located here, and then just off to the west a bit, up in this little corner right here, is where Sherekhan Necropolis is. As you can see, the recommended AP is 210 for this zone. I am going to say I do recommend a little higher than that. I think even at 210 with Kudum, it'd be a little bit rough. And the reason I say that is because at soft cap, I even had to kind of pay attention to making sure my buffs and stuff were up, and that's not normally something I do pay attention to while grinding in general. Second thing, something that's pretty unique about this place in general is that the mobs at the nighttime and daytime are actually different. So during the daytime, like it is now, just freshly daytime, almost like I planned exactly when we were going to record this, the mobs are standard mobs that you'd be used to. Big groups of mobs. I'm heading down to where our rotation is going to be. Big groups of mobs like you're used to in general, and then during the nighttime, you have these stones that I'll show you when I'm a little further down. It's pretty lively right now. These stones that you can use 10 energy, and it spawns one super mob or elite mob that comes up that you can fight. So the nighttime ones have better drop rates than obviously these groups of mobs like this. However, they're much more difficult to defeat, and for grinding purposes, I did indeed do daytime so that we were grinding these mobs here. So all of our 20 hours are going to be in this zone here. Let me just zip. This is where our rotation is right here. So you head just down this way. You can totally kill the groups of mobs on the way. It's no big deal. And then you just work your way in this giant area full of groups of circle all the way around, and by the time you've easily you can see on the map the red dots, you just kind of work your way in a big circle this way and then circle around more mobs and work your way back around to where you started, and you can just do that repeatedly. There's actually several spots where you can do that. This is the one I found that was pretty dense and kind of worked out for me in general. And then as far as grinding these mobs overall, let me pop my pets out real quick and I'll kind of show you. You got to group these guys up. I actually want to go get a fresh pack. You got to group them up, but as you can see there, they actually have pretty short leashes in general. So what you want to do is you could just go in on a single group like this one here, but obviously we want to clear quickly. So if you have like a group like this, you know, you move on in, and let's also get this group kind of going in and wait till they're grouped up here. Get them, you know, whoever's coming in together, and then we'll move in. We want to get back attacks on these mobs. Oh, we had a Black Spirit skill up because they're super strong compared to most low-level grinding areas if you're coming from Fogans and stuff like that. So you just kind of keep that going, block stuff up, great, zip behind them, drop a back attack skill. Oh, we're in the wrong form. And just keep that grind going. Also, my pets need to be fed. So you just kind of keep doing that. That's how I zipped through these guys for many hours, and then they drop their stuff. So let me zip over here and we'll take a look at item drops in this area. Make sure we're mob free so I can pull that up. They should reset. Yeah, and like I was saying, they do have a short leash, so in some group areas you're going to notice that you'll pull one pack of mobs, and the other pack of mobs that you go to pull, it might actually reset a couple out of the first one since their leash is pretty short in general. So let's take a look at what items can drop here while you're grinding. Obviously we did see the trash loot that came through. So we have the Akum armor. Right now the prices on these, the price that everything's listed at right now, like as I'm recording this portion, is a bit lower than what they were when I was doing the 20 hours there. And to be honest with you, I don't know how prices are going to settle out overall, since we have this craziness where we got Dark Rift bosses introduced, then the very next week we got Central Marketplace introduced, and then the very next week they decided to put Shikatu boxes and Shikatu luxury boxes in the marketplace, or Pearl Shop rather I should say, for silver. So the prices on things is completely bonkers right now. So I'm just going to go off of what they were when I was grinding at the time, and then we'll just run with that. So you have Akum armor pieces. These will drop, you know, blue level items. It's kind of here and there. You have the Orkenrad belt, which used to be valuable, no longer is. The most valuable item you now have is the Hum crystal. You also have the blue one that drops, which is Makalad, Masalad, Makalad. I'm sure you guys will tell me how that I pronounced it wrong all three of those times, but you get the idea. Of course, we got Kaffir stones with a decent rate in Dregan for drop, and then you also have two belt pieces that you have, and you can just, if you get these pieces, they combine and make another Orkenrad belt. belt as well. And then of course we do have an increased drop rate for black energy residue since we are in Dregan. Next couple of things I want to address before we take a look at the charts and see how we did. As always, want to cover what sorts of things that I had while using it. I had Comma Blessing up the entire time. I did have a level 7 node while doing it. Usually when I make these videos I do have a level 10, but to be honest with you, I was supposed to be doing Mansham, and I kind of audibled like last minute and decided to do Sherekhan Necropolis next, and I didn't really have much of a node level there. It was like level 3 or something, so I just dumped whatever energy I had on characters. It got to like 6, and then over the time made it 7. It was just like, whatever, we'll run with this. So it's level 7 node on this round, not level 10. Ecology was 7%. Rotation, and my pets are upgraded from the last video. I did pick up another tier 4, so I have 3 tier 4s now and 2 tier 3s for looting. Although I will say, because if you saw how in killing those, you're doing them in larger groups and they're going to take 2-3 hits before they're going down depending on your AP. Pets aren't super important for this spot in general, thanks to the way that you're killing them. So the grind speed's a little bit slower than a Fogan. I mean, than a Fogan's, it's way slower. But in general, most grind places, it's going to be slower. It's packing up mobs, similar to if you've worked Basilisk Den a little bit. These mobs are more densely packed and a lot closer together, even in the revamped Bazzy Den. But the way that you're killing them, the grouping and stuff, is pretty similar to that. So the flow of killing them overall is pretty similar to that. As far as it being busy, there were 2 people running down here, because when we were coming up, I think one was just farming the little deer things that are up there for life skilling stuff. And as you can see, nobody's on this rotation at the bottom here. I think I ran into one guy one time that was in the area. And for a while we weren't even overlapping each other's, and this was in 20 hours, we didn't even overlap each other's grind zone, and then eventually he literally just typed to me F off, so I had to flag and kill him real quick because he had a potty mouth, and we don't put up with that. So that was that. Other than that, no PvP whatsoever throughout this entire place. It's really, really quiet out here. So let's take a look at the grind table and see. I added color because that seems to be the new theme on the old YouTubes now when we do these, is we want some colors. So here's this. If you don't like spreadsheets, because there is actually just one person that's commented twice on these that doesn't like looking at spreadsheets, too bad. We're doing spreadsheets. Here we go. This is my favorite part. The spreadsheets gives us our data. So here's what we're looking at with what drops we got. We can see out of total, I got 4 crystals total. Obviously the whom are far more valuable. They were at 55 mil when I was doing this. I think they came down to like 47 or something just today, although I had these hours grinded already. These guys were at 17 at the time. I think they're around 16 or so. Belts are sad because they used to be 75 mil or even 80 mil. I can't remember when they first came out, and with all these new things coming out, I had 3 drops, but they were worth about 30 mil, and I think they even touched down to 20 mil at some point today. Again, don't focus so much on what the exact price of it right now is. Look at the potential for the drop and what it could go up to when we see some normal pricing, or at least figure out what normal pricing is going to be after all these crazy events get out of the way. Caphras was pretty much in line with what I see at any of the Dregan spots. This drop rate was actually really close to both Shira and Bloodwolf, and my feeling on that is you're definitely killing less mobs per hour, but the mobs have better drop rates individually, so that it kind of rounds out to about the same in general. Dust was a little bit low. This would be, again, because you're killing less mobs than a lower AP area. Blackstones are Blackstones. As far as my trash loot, I ended up averaging right at about 3,300, and all said is done. You can see it probably would have gone up. Again, like I always say, I'm watching Netflix, I'm watching anime, I'm doing other stuff when I'm grinding. I'm not like hardcore just grinding it as fast as I could. So this place is pretty easily doable at, like, let's say, I'm sure 4K is achievable. Honestly, even not paying full attention, I was starting to get up to 3,500. You can see my trash loot slowly just increased as I got a little better at grinding the area over time. So I'm pretty sure this is a 4K trash loot area at soft cap if you're really going to it. And again, this is with no loot scroll. I don't use loot scrolls for these videos. Belt pieces, I ended up actually getting 1 of 1 and then the other 2 of the circle-y piece, so that created 1 extra belt there as well. In total amount of Akum armor was 2, 3, 4 of the helm. 3 armor pieces and 4 glove and boots. These were worth the same value at the time, so I just lumped the glove and boot into the same category. And then we have the Garmoth scale, which is, world drop in Dregan anyways, same as it usually is as far as that goes. A little bit higher at Shira Ruins because you're killing more mobs, and about the same as we see anywhere else. So overall, out of the 20 hours, my average came out to 37.26 million. I was expecting around 35 to 40 million because I knew this place was going to be pretty drop dependent. The difference being, had I done this place a month ago or a month and a half ago, the Whoms would have been worth much, much less since they were capped out at 24 mil, although technically far more valuable than that, and the belts were up in the 70 to 80 mil range at the time. So whereas now, I would have said at this point, getting a belt drop is when you're going to have, you know, good hours and, you know, bad hours whenever you don't get anything. You can see I bottomed out at 16 mil, topped out at 79 mil was the top end on it. But that now it's reversed. The belt is, you know, okay, like it's good money if you get a drop on it, but the Whom's crystals are really what you want in this place in general. As far as other things with it, storage space is not a big deal. You can leave your mount right up where we started at the node dude there, and he's safe. You can run over there if you want to stay here for several hours. The catch to staying here for several hours is going to be if you don't have a tent, it's going to matter, and the reason for that is the method that you're grinding these guys, the coming in, you know, waiting up to set up and then hitting them all with back attack. You're taking damage, so your armor is absolutely going to need repair really quickly. So if you don't have a tent, you're probably not going to be able to grind here very much. The other thing I wanted to mention when we're talking about AP for this, I really recommended. I didn't feed my pets. I really recommend around, you know, 220, 235, honestly, with Kudum to be efficient at this place in general. It's really necessary, but even more so than that, what's super necessary, depending on your class, is you want to have good armor. Your DP actually is going to matter here because, as you saw there, every single mob has some type of CC skill here, and when you're pulling, you know, 10 of these guys at a time to get them in on an attack, and somebody, you know, you're going through and maybe they catch you on a dash right between your iframe or something, and somebody CCs you, when that happens, you're going to get hit, and you're going to get hit about 40 times before you can actually move again. So you'll find that your DP is kind of important to have there so that you're able to take those hits depending on how your class is. I do have all Tet armor, boss armor, so it didn't phase me one bit. I hardly took any damage, but just keep that in mind. If you don't have Tet boss armor, that's definitely something you want to look at. As far as that goes, my overall thoughts on this place, XP wise, it does have Marnie stones. You do need separate ones for nighttime and daytime. Again, this was just daytime only. XP wise, it was about what you'd expect from having to kill high level mobs. Again, pretty reminiscent of Baziden. It was pretty similar to that. As far as my overall thoughts on this area, I gotta say I had fun grinding this. It's a good little break from, you know, your usual monotonous type grinds. It's not super worth it though, because I'm finding that if you have the gear to be efficient at this place, and you can even be more efficient than I was actually doing here for sure. If you have the gear to be efficient here, you can do a lot better at other spots. So my overall recommendation, if you want to break from your normal grinds that you're doing, if you're getting into Achman and things like that, or you're sticking with your Gahas, Fogans, or whatever it is you love, it's a good way to kind of break up the monotony, but it's not super great. You know, 37 mil per hour in this day and age is just not going to cut it overall, especially when you're around soft cap gear. And even if you're, you know, 235 Kudum, 230 Kudum, something like that, there's definitely better spots. On the other hand, getting hold of a Whom can be pretty pricey right now. So if you want a little bit of a break, you know, you could buckle down. If you get a little bit luckier than I did here, you could end up with maybe 4, 5, 6 Whoms within 20 hours or so, just kind of depending on what crystal ends up dropping, whether you get the Makalad drop or the Whom on it. So final thoughts, if you're looking for a Whom crystal, check the place out. It's fun. For a bit, I actually really enjoyed the 20 hours. The first couple hours when I was struggling to kind of figure out the rotations and kind of what to do, I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this place very much. And then I really started to get a better feel for it, and it was nice. I would probably not grind it again unless I wanted to pick up some more Whom crystals, but I don't need them at the time, so that is it. So that's going to be it for this video. That is the breakdown for Sherekhan Necropolis. Let me know what you guys want me to do next. I know Pilaku is on the table, and so is Manshams. I actually had started to do Manshams before this video, and I just found that I wasn't killing them fast enough to my liking. I'm at soft cap at DK, and I just didn't like the rotation speed that it was going at, and I feel like I want to come back to Manshams at another time when I can be a bit more efficient for it. I just don't think that, you know, 240-ish AP Kudum is where Mansham is efficient in speed. I could be wrong about it, but I didn't like it when I tried it for the first couple hours, and I switched to Sherekhan. I'm open to some other suggestions. I also do want to do a Medea kind of breakdown for some of the low-level areas, especially with a lot of new players coming into the game recently. So, you know, I'm open to that as well. Anyways, that is it. Be sure to like this video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you are new to the channel so you get updates of when we do more videos like these. I can usually do one per week on the 20-hour grinds. Obviously, it takes me 20 hours of preparation and sometimes a little more to get them ready. But yeah, make sure you subscribe so you get all the video updates and news updates, patch notes, and all that good stuff. And yep, leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think of Sherekhan Necropolis. If you've tried it out, what kind of results you were getting. and if you think it's worth it, and let me know about them whom drops. Anyways, that will be it for this video. Everybody, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.